I know, you don't like it. Give it time, man.
I hate it. Not that I don't like it, I literally hate it.
Ah, the cursed wall of empty alcohol bottles. Each bottle represents a good night, and for Sarper, that probably means a good night with a different girl. Yeah, is it any wonder that Shekinah hates it? But from hate to love. While these two certainly lack a lot of things in their relationship, one thing they don't lack is passion. Who is this new vulnerable Sarper, and what's he done with the old version? But before we get to that, let's just rewind back to the start. Now, since being separated for the last 3 months, it seems that both of their controlling habits have got worse. So maybe being together will restore the balance. Well, probably not, but I'm ever the optimist. Now, as we join Shekinah on her way to the airport back to Turkey, she's already planning what she's going to change once she gets there.
There are 2 things from Sarper's past that have been a continuous thorn in our relationship. His sleazy black book of women he's slept with and his bottle collection.
Ah yeah, the legendary black book that lists all of Sarper's conquests. A list that might contain anywhere from 2,500 to 3,000 women, he claims. But for as messed up as that is, it's not the black book that Shekinah's set her targets on for today. Yeah, it's his bottle collection. As you probably recall, it came out during the tell-all, precisely why he's been holding on to all of these empty bottles for so long.
It's just a collection.
He has a memory with each bottle with a female. And he keeps all the bottles.
What the?
Should Sarper get rid of the bottles and the book? Yes, absolutely he should. I mean, think about it. Both of them are a physical representation of his Playboy days. It says a lot that he doesn't want to give that up. It's almost a reluctance to turn his back on that way of life, to settle down with Shekinah. But it's also important to remember what Sarper revealed in the last episode. He may well have an undiagnosed OCD. Letting go of his collections might actually be very difficult for him, far more difficult than we can comprehend.
I said, I'm not coming back until you get rid of them.
But you're going back.
But I'm going back because he wants to talk about this in person.
So, as Shekinah's friend drives her to the airport, Shekinah reveals that she's actually given Sarper an ultimatum about the bottles. Now, of course, this isn't the first time that Shekinah's given Sarper an ultimatum. When she arrived at his apartment last time, she flat out refused to sleep in the guy's bed until he changed his mattress. But there's a slight change this time. You see, Shekinah wants to also give Sarper a taste of his own medicine. How? Well, it comes in the form of her ex-boyfriend.
My very first boyfriend, when I was 16 years old, wrote me a letter that's 143 pages long.
I'm sorry, what?
Let me just bring this with me to Turkey. Give him a dose of his own medicine.
Oh, okay, so Sarper's not the only one to hang on to things. I mean, Shekinah's held on to this 142-page letter since she was 16. Like, I suppose if someone's that obsessed with you that they write a 142-page novel, novel, because at that point it's no longer a letter, then, yeah, maybe that's something that you hang on to. It's definitely not the healthiest way for her to get her point across. But, she hopes, maybe it will help Sarper to feel how she feels when she looks at all of those empty bottles.
I don't know how we can make a bigger commitment like marriage when he's still holding on to his past. He needs to show me that he can be the man that I need him to be.
Sarper claims that he's all in for Shekinah. He says she's his only one now, and he's actually annoyed, he's expressed his annoyance at the fact that Shekinah doesn't acknowledge just how much he's changed from his past slutty ways. But the thing is, Sarper, how's she supposed to believe you? Like, you shoot yourself in the foot if you're so reluctant to give up what's essentially a shrine to all the women that you've slept with. And as Shekinah prepares to fly out, her friend leaves her with some final words of advice. Stay strong, she says.
Remember what we talked about in the car?
Yeah.
Hold your ground. Be strong.
Yeah. Don't make me cry. Stop.
Make sure you get what you deserve.
Yeah.
Look, that's the thing with Shekinah, right? Say what you want about her, but she has proved over and over again that she's pretty good at standing her ground. Whether that be the mattress incident, refusing to allow him to train women, or even the small little matter of having his kids. Yeah, that could well have been make or break for their relationship. And yet she stood her ground. She refused to be bullied into anything. But, and here's where the confusion arises, for as true as all of that is, at precisely the same time, she also willingly allows him to control her. Like, he controls her weight. He controls the way that she looks. Heck, he's even designed a new nose for her. I mean, it gets to the point where you start to realise that control that he has is because she allows him to. Now, speaking of Sarper, what's he up to? How's he getting along being separated from Shekinah for so long?
I feel so excited because 3.5 months, and I'm living a priest life without her. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit.
Look at Sarper's apartment. He seems to have gone into full-blown bachelor mode. It's messy. I mean, there's dirty dishes everywhere. The bedding is scattered all over the place. He's clearly lacking a feminine touch. Yeah, he better get his act together fast, because Shekinah's coming back and she expects things to be done her way. And as Sarper heads out to pick her up from the airport, he realises the expectations, the responsibilities begin immediately now that she's brought her dog with her.
It will be the first time that I will live with a dog. I never thought that I would do because these are so big responsibility and dogs are like babies, like child.
Hold on a minute, Sarper. Weren't you the one that wanted a child? Like, weren't you the one that almost ended your relationship over the issue? The thing is, the way that Sarper sees it, by accepting Adonis into his life, is proving to Shekinah that he's now a responsible good guy. He's grown up, he's responsible and mature enough to be a dog parent. He hopes that that will be enough to prove to her once and for all that his bad boy days are entirely behind him now.
Mostly bad boys are cat guys because not much big responsibility. You can leave them at home for 3 or 4 days.
I mean, it makes sense, but it's also so damn hard to take this guy seriously. Like, what the hell does he mean most bad boys are cat guys? Now, he does eventually make it to the airport, and after 3 long, hard months apart, seeing Shekinah again overwhelms him with emotion. Wow, I genuinely didn't expect to see such raw emotion coming from Sarper. But there you have it. He does have the capacity to shock us all. Like, watching this, if we didn't know just how messed up and toxic their relationship really is, you'd be forgiven for thinking that this is beautiful, this is healthy. But, of course, it isn't. And it's really important to not let this emotional moment distract us from the truth.
Forget this moment, okay?
Forget it.
Yeah.
I will never
Don't
forget
see
it.
me that weak again.
Baby, it's not weak.
Sarper seems to be the literal walking embodiment of toxic masculinity. He clings onto this fallacy, this notion that somehow crying as a man is a sign of weakness. Now, these outdated views of masculinity explain a lot. They explain the life he's lived up until this point. But But now that Shekinah and Adonis are here, after a long tiring flight from LA and plus the 2-hour drive back to his apartment, Sarper soon shows that he hasn't changed quite as much as he'd have us believe. You see, yeah, he might be opening up, he might be showing more of his vulnerable side this season, but he's still not ready to entirely let go of that past of his.
The first thing I see are the bottles. I kind of thought Sarper's gonna surprise me and I'm gonna walk in and they're gonna be gone. But that's not the case.
Whether it's an undiagnosed mental illness, or it really is Sarper's inability to let go of his trophies, because let's not lie, that's exactly what they are, trophies of his sexual exploits, the truth is, he is going to have to get rid of them if he wants Shekinah to stay in his life. You see, she's got a very clear stance. It's a no BS attitude. Either they go or I go.
I know, you don't like it. Give it time, man.
I hate it. It's not that I don't like it, I literally hate it.
Give you time. Sarper, you've had 3 months. This is what's so frustrating about this guy, right? It's so baffling to see how at the airport, he was all too ready to cry. There was real raw emotion there. No one could watch that and tell me he doesn't really love her. But compare that to now. He's now willing to let a number of dusty old alcohol bottles potentially get in the way of his relationship. So, is he all in, like he claims, or is he not? I can't help but feel like this is a big test. Sarper's testing boundaries. How much will Shekinah let him get away with? When she puts her foot down, how serious is she?